Hello there, and welcome back. So today I wanted to talk about HellDivers 2 for a little bit because uh, we're in October already, so soon we're gonna be celebrating Super Earth's Liberty Day, which is a like in lore holiday of Super Earth. And both in Helldivers 1 and also Helldivers 2, the developers have like a tradition, let's call it, to like release like certain content on Liberty Day. So in the first game, we had like I think it was four Liberty Days content drops, let's call it. So it was in 2016, a year after the game's release, 2017, 2018, and 2019. If it was the last one, and I believe that's why because 2020 is when Helldivers 2 was supposed to come out, or at least when they were supposed to be working on it full time. So I guess uh, they didn't release anything else after that. I don't know if they had like events or like in-game events or something celebrated Liberty Day, but they were like four content drops. And as far as Helldivers 2 goes, we had just one Liberty Day, which was in October 2024, and that's when we got the DP00 tactical armor and also the armor and helmet, which is basically the like a modernized version of the like gear from Helldivers 1. So basically it's the default gear, I guess, from Helldivers 1. And it was a very nice drop because it's a classic, so I really liked it as far as updates goes. And we also got the Air 2124 Constitution, which is the marksman rifle with the fixed bayonet, and also it's like it has like an in-universe explanation, so it's um, like a recreation of the pre-democratic times, as they call it. So before like Super Earth became like spacefaring and stuff. So it was a pretty cool drop, especially the armor. But for this year, I have like better hopes. I'm gonna share with you guys my, let's say, top three picks for content drops, and I really hope they're not just some capes or or another armor, which would be nice regardless. But I would much rather have like new stratagems, new weapons, or more specifically, a certain laser weapon that I'm gonna tell you guys in a second. For anybody who had played Helldivers 1, you might already know what I'm talking about because I think this was one of the like top favorite weapons in Helldivers 1. It was definitely my favorite weapon. And as far as laser weapons go, I think it's one of the few, if not the only one, we don't have like a version in Helldivers 2. But yeah, first let's go step by step. So first I'm gonna go through the previous Liberty Day content drops for Helldivers 1, and then I'm gonna share with you guys what I hope and I wish Arrowhead gives us for Liberty Day 2025. And also, if they don't have these certain like I'm gonna call them new weapons stratagems, but basically I just want stuff from Helldivers 1. So I'm pretty sure some of them, at least they have some sort of plan to bring into the game, because we've seen a lot of stuff come back. So we had the gas weapon. It was also in Helldivers 1. I'm not sure if it functioned differently or not because I don't remember. I just remember the community used to call it the piss gun because it looked like you were just shooting like green piss even if it was like gas. It's pretty funny. But yeah, anyway, the first Liberty Day content update was in 2016 on October 26th, which is the holiday for Liberty Day, and it's also the same day as the birthday of the previous CEO of Arrowhead, which was Johan Pildestad. I think he still has like a position now in in the company, but I think he's not a CEO anymore. I think now he's like the CCO. I don't really know what all the like letters means. I know CEO is the chief executive officer. So the CCO, I think it was something with creative, so maybe chief creative officer. I don't know. It's just I know it was a step down, right? So at the end of the day, they just put a holiday in Super Earth on the same day as the birthday of the CEO back in the day. So it's a pretty cool like trivia. And in 2016 we got like the Constitution again, which is similar to the one we got in HellDivers 2. In HellDivers 1 it's called the M2016 Constitution, which I guess is the year because it's 2016. And they also stayed the same, like the M2016 Constitution is a reproduction of the old M9003, like I guess it's from 1903, like the year when the weapon was made. I'm not sure what. It's based like on a marksman rifle from real life. I don't know if it's like the Enfield or something similar. So yeah, basically has an upgrade, which is the bayonet, much like the HellDiver 2 counterpart. And then we also got like 3 capes, which actually I guess is just only one really. So we had the Liberty cape, which was made available for everybody. So it's basically like a normal black cape with like some like gray stripes on the back. And then they also had the community cape, which was like it was made like out of 3 stripes, and the stripes were black but with an orange yellow outline. And this was like given as a reward to like outstanding individuals, it says in the wiki. So basically people that participated or helped with the community. So I think it's like reporting bugs or helping new people. I don't know if it's like they had like any sort of like community like they have now on Discord maybe. So maybe people that are mods there like got this. So basically it was for people that helped out the devs with the community in a certain way. So it's not for everybody. So as far as free content, we just got the Liberty cape and the Constitution. And then there's another cape, which is the developer cape, which I think is the only time we see like a HellDiver without a helmet. So basically there's like 2 models, like the male and the female developer. That's how they call the helmet. So it's basically like just a guy and a girl with a cap instead of a helmet. And the cape is called the developer cape, which is basically the same as the community cape, but the colors are inverted. So you have 3 yellow stripes with a black outline, and this was only worn by Arrowhead staff. And if you've seen them in the wild, like on the maps, you would know they're a developer. So I guess they would go on planet to test stuff or go to release new content. I think they're doing that nowadays. So like I remember when they were releasing new content, like I think the developers just dropped on a map, dropped like new content, like I don't know, the mechs or something like that, so the players can take them and then just left the game. So yeah, 3 capes, but technically only 1 cape and a weapon for all the community. Then we went to the second Liberty Day in 2017, which is better like as content goes. So we have like 3 stratagems this time. So we have the heavy strafing run, the GL8 launcher turret, which is a grenade launcher turret, and the thunder smoke round. So basically we had the strafing run, which is like a heavy version of the normal strafing run. So it's more like I guess the power and the explosive, like the explosive area was better compared to the normal strafing run. So it's a new stratagem, similar to the original but more powerful, so it's nice. Then we had the grenade launcher turret, which is what it says on the tin, right? So you have a turret like the other ones, just instead of bullets or rockets, it shoots like grenades. And I mean, both of this could make a comeback into HellDivers 2. I don't see a reason why not. And then the third one is the Thunder Smoke Round. This we already kind of have in the game. So the Thunder Smoke Round has the description of a single round of smoke is fired from a nearby Thunder artillery emplacement. So this is basically HellDivers 1's like equivalent of sieve sights, I guess. Sieve artillery. It's just back in the day they didn't come from a specific play. So you just have like this random artillery on the planet that shoots this for you. So this is not something we can add because we already have like the Sif artillery, but I guess it's similar to the one round of Sif artillery smoke. So yeah, definitely less cosmetic and more useful. So we had like 3 stratagems. At least 2 of them are very useful. Like the heavy strafing run is like an orbital, like an eagle, uh, like offensive stratagem, and then we have the grenade launcher, which the turrets are always cool for like defense mission and stuff. And then finally in 2018 we had another drop which is smaller because we only got, as far as content goes, we got the MGX-42 machine gun, which is also a nice support weapon we can have in HellDivers 2 because it basically was like a one-use disposable machine gun. So it's basically like a heavy like minigun that the HellDivers carried around, and it just has like one magazine of 300 rounds, and you just fire it, and when you finish you drop it like the expendable tank, anti-tank launcher, or the commando, for example. So that would be a pretty nice addition. I really want more expendable weapons because it opens the possibility of using backpacks, so that's always pretty welcome, and I think people would like this, like a limited minigun like weapon with like 300 rounds. I think it's pretty fair. So basically it would function like the machine gun arm of the mech suit we have, the one that has a machine gun arm and a rocket launcher gun. So this would be a nice addition. And that's it for content. We did have another addition as far as difficulty goes. They introduced the last 3 difficulties of the game, which is 13, 14 and 15, and that was the last difficulty level HellDivers 1 had. And for everybody who didn't play HellDivers 1, I'm gonna read like through all of the levels. So we had like I think there was like 12 difficulties as the main ones, because the last one, the 12th, was called HellDive, and that's when they added these 3 new ones. So we have level 1, dive in the park; level 2, very easy, which is where they introduce light enemies, like enemy warriors. 3 is easy; medium is just medium. Number 4 introduces medium-sized enemies. Then we have challenging, which is 5, which introduces heavy enemies. Very challenging. It just increases the number of enemies, but it's the same as 5. Then we have 7, which is hard. 8 is very hard, and that's where they introduce elite enemies, such as like the Impaler and the Behemoth, I guess. The Behemoth Charger, they were like 2 different enemies. Then we have 9, which is hard as hell, which basically just increases the number of elites. 10 is suicide mission. 11 is impossible. They reduce the amount of light enemies, so you have even more like heavy enemies instead of light ones. And finally we had HellDive, which was the highest difficulty before Liberty Day 2018. So that's when we got the 3 new ones, which is 13, an exercise in futility, introduces new enemy units. I think they had like a version of the Stalker, so you have the Stalker, then you also have the Shadow, and maybe the Charger and the Behemoth Charger were also like, the Behemoth was one of these new enemies, I think. And they also added the Enemy Master difficulty, which we'll talk about in a sec. And 14 was the definition of insanity. Further reduces the amount of light enemies, so by the time you get to the last level you just basically have heavy armored enemies and no like tiny ones. And the Inner Circle of Hell is just that, level 15, and once again further reduces the light enemies and increases the elites. So basically you get less light enemies and more heavy and elites. And then after the 15 main difficulties, which in the HellDiver 1 game the difficulties was like shown to the player as planets. So you went on a certain sector of the map, like on the like either cyborg, bugs, or illuminate side. And you had like basically 12 planets, and then they went from 12 to 15 or 16, so you had one planet for each difficulty, right? So that's where you have your operation, which the more like the first difficulty has one mission per operation, the medium one has like two, and finally the harder difficulties has like 3 missions per operation. And then the 16th planet was a special planet which is called an enemy master difficulty or planet, let's call it. And that's where you fight like the bosses from HellDivers 1. One of the bosses we already have in HellDivers 2, which is the Hive Lord for the bugs. And then we also had the Great Eye for the Illuminate, was basically this huge mechanic eye that could like teleport, summon like units and shields and stuff, like barriers that cut the map across. So I'm not sure how this would work, because it was very, at least the walls that it created to block your path and stuff, it was very aimed to the type of gameplay HellDivers 1 had, but they're surely gonna work on it. And then the cyborgs had the siege mech, which is basically an amalgamation of everything. Like you have this like cyborg slash automaton looking thing on tank, like tank tracks with like a lot of weapons, like grenade launchers, machine guns, or autocannons, stuff like that. So I think this is technically the first like real automaton, because the description of the siege mech basically says it's not clear if anything of the original human is left in this machine, and the rest are basically just humans with mechanical parts. Then you have the tanks, which you can assume there's a human inside or a cyborg, and the warlord, which is similar to the Hulk. It does look very armored, but at least we know there's like at least the head or the brain survives inside, right? So I know the developer says the automatons are not cyborgs or human origin, but I don't know, man. Like they have like skull looking like heads. They always like have like bodies around, and they cut off body parts and brains and have those big blenders bioprocessors to make oil, I guess, from the humans. But I don't know, I always thought in my head that they use the brain of humans to control the automatons, like make soldiers with like brainwashed human brains, I guess. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, this is basically the 2018 content drop, which just had like a stratagem and 3 new difficulties. And finally we had 2019, which is depending how you look at it, even lighter as far as content. So the first 2 was definitely the most content heavy Liberty Days, but still. With the 2019 one, we got 9 new capes, which is a little bit of a trick there. It's not really that many. And they also had the option to have a random loadout or a favorite loadout, so you can save your favorite. And the random, basically, when you selected your mission, you just chose the random one, and you don't know what weapons, what stratagems you're gonna get, so it would be totally randomized. And they also had the proving grounds, and these proving grounds were like a new game mode that consists of like unique missions with different difficulties and modifiers, which I mean, we have modifiers now, so I guess this is the predecessor of modifiers. But the mission, the Proving Grounds mission, basically had like 3 components. So you had the challenge, which is like an objective. For example, you have to rescue survivors or activate SAM sites. Then you had a modifier to mix things up from the normal gameplay loop. So you had like, for example, I don't know, unexpected orbital bombardment strikes, so you just randomly had like stuff falling from the sky, which is similar to what we have with the DSS right now, even though the DSS is the space station like helps us, but similar, like you just had like random orbital like attacks falling on the ground, so you had to avoid them, or like electricity, like lightning strikes, so you had to stay on your toes. And finally, there's like a condition which affects like the loadout. So for example, you can have proving grounds that use shotgun only, or just you could only use defensive stratagem, or maybe a new weapon when you reload. I think I played once, so basically whenever you reload your weapon, you spawn like a new weapon in your hand. So definitely interesting. So it's more of a challenge type mode. especially for people that I guess kind of got bored of the loop. So yeah, it's an interesting challenge, but it's very like I guess limited. And then this Proving Grounds mode is tied in with the new capes. So you have 9 new capes, which are really just 3 designs of different like wear and tear. So you have a specific Proving Grounds cape for each faction. So one for bugs, one for cyborgs, and one for Illuminate, which basically features like a black cape with the logo of each faction and the color of each faction. So bugs are yellow, cyborg are red, and Illuminate are light blue. And then the 3 different levels are like the first one is pristine, the second one is a little torn, like has like a little hole or two, and then the third one is like very torn, like it's ripped to shreds. So that's basically like 3 capes made into 9 because you have 3 variations of each. And this you got it as like rewards for participating in the Proving Grounds. And I think the last one is literally had to be like in the top, I don't know if it was like top 10 or top 100 in the leaderboard, even something crazy like that. So not a lot of people have these, right? So you can get like the first one probably just for playing, then the second one for being like top, I don't know, something in the leaderboards, I don't know at the top of my head. And then the last one was literally like the top 1 or 5% of people. So yeah, definitely hard to get. And it is content, just not as big as the other ones. And then we go to 2024, which I already talked about. We have the Constitution again and the HellDiver 1 inspired armor and helmet. So now we get to this year's Liberty Day in 2025, and I am hoping for like another Liberty Day like the one in 2017, which was the second HellDiver 1 Liberty Day content drop. And I'm hoping to see at least like 2 or 3 stratagems and defensive weapons. And there's a lot of content from the first game they could still add, I guess. But as I said before, there's a certain weapon that I hope they can add, which is the LAS-13 Trident. So this is a laser gun, but it's basically like a shotgun. Literally, it's a shotgun-like weapon that shoots like 3 razor bolts, right? So it's like the Senator from HellDivers 2. It's basically a laser revolver, but it's like a shotgun. So you shoot like 3 lasers, and you could upgrade this in the first game, and you can add like heat capacity, like so it overheats slower, and you can also increase the rate of fire. And then you can also add the laser splitter, which double the amount of lasers. So instead of 3, you shoot like 5 or 6 lasers on each shot. And this is by far my favorite weapon in HellDivers 2. HellDivers 1, sorry. It's infinite ammo. If you manage your heat correctly, you'd never run out of ammo. And even if you do, you have like 2 or 3 heat sinks to change if it overheats. So this is definitely the best gun in HellDivers 1, and I really want to see it in HellDivers 2. This is the only like laser gun that we don't really have right now, because I was looking at the HellDivers 1 like weapon roster, and we have like almost everything. So there was like a flame pistol, a flamethrower, we already have those. We have a laser pistol, we got it. We got the Liberators, the Stalwart, which is now like a support weapon. In HellDivers 1 it was a primary, I think. And for laser we have the laser cannon, the sickle, the double-edged sickle, the sight. We have the arc thrower and arc shotgun, which I think they're very similar to the arc thrower, to the support weapon we have now. And the arc shotgun is basically the primary arc thrower we have now, or blitz, I don't know what it's called. I know there's a primary arc thrower weapon and a support weapon. And we've only got a saber, which we got from a war bond. And I don't know, the only like missing weapon from the HellDivers 1 roster is this one, the laser shotgun, which sounds amazing. It was awesome to handle, so I really hope this is gonna drop as a like a Liberty Day content drop, because the LAS-13 Trident itself was also like a DLC. It wasn't a DLC, it was like a free content drop, which they gave on the first anniversary of the game. So not on Liberty Day, but in like March 3rd to 2016. which celebrated like 1 year of the game, and it's unlocked by default for everybody. So if you have the game, you get it by default. You don't have to buy any DLC or do anything. So hopefully they do the same, so everybody has it. But if they don't, I would be more than happy to get a warband with this weapon inside. And to like round things up, I'm gonna give like a couple more examples. For example, the grenade launcher turret I think would be a nice sentry to have, because we do have like a lot of like turrets. Like we had the machine gun, heavy machine gun, laser, flamethrower, mortar, and also the rocket launcher. So this would be like another one. So instead of rockets, we would launch like grenades, which is, I don't know, just there. You can never have too many sentries, and also it's gonna help like just let people play around with different loadouts and stuff. So they could add that, the laser shotgun, and also there was another support weapon in HellDivers 1 which I think would be very useful, especially with the addition of like heavier enemies such as like the War Striders or like armored enemies, and that would be the M25 Rumbler. So basically the M25 Rumbler was a DLC weapon that you got buying like I think it was called the weapon pack basically. But back in HellDivers 1 they had like DLC packs, so there was no way of earning like super credits for free to buy the DLC. It was just bought in the PlayStation Store, which I'm pretty happy because now you can literally farm and buy them in game, so you don't need to spend any money if you're farming super credits. But yeah, basically the lumber is like a heavy portable mortar firing like weapon, so it's pretty slow. Like you obviously like stationary reload, but basically you shoot like bursts of like mortar rounds in the air, and it was very hard to aim because basically you just aim for the direction and kind of hope for the best. You didn't have like a scope, a laser or anything. You just aimed and hope for the best and hope not to kill your team. So very easy to kill your teammates with this, but it was a must-have for like boss battles or heavy enemies. So these three would be my pick for the Liberty Day content drop in 2025. So laser shotgun, the LAS-13 Trident, the M25 Rumbler, which would be amazing, and the grenade launcher turret, so we have like a different one. And if they want to add like more orbitals or whatever, that would be amazing, but I really want the laser shotgun. And I think both the grenade launcher turret and the mortar weapon would be nice, because we need more support weapons. So I would pick these three, and if they want to add more, by all means, even if they are like part of the Liberty Day content drop or war bonds, doesn't matter. And yeah, I think apart from these things, there's another thing that I would like them to add, which I think we really need, especially now with the oil rig missions, and that's the Rep 80 support stratagem. Like, it's a support weapon that's not like damage oriented, and basically it's a repair tool that's capable of repairing damaged vehicles as well as mending flesh. So basically you shoot this thing and it's like a green beam, like a healing beam, and it just connects like the allied weapons and machines, like an arc, but it's like a green beam. And basically this heals your machine and also the HellDivers life. So this would be very awesome for like support like players. So imagine the new oil rig mission where literally you can get your oil rig destroyed by enemies or by dropping stuff on it. So you can have somebody drive the oil rig, a couple of people inside defending like on the turrets and stuff like that, and then have like one guy just walking behind with the repair tool, just repairing the oil rig, and the two people inside defend like the like be backup for the guy in the back so that he doesn't die and keeps healing the machine. So you could heal like mechs, you could heal mechs and vehicles with it, like the fast recon vehicle, the oil rig, and if they add anything else in the future. And this would be amazing. Like it would be awesome for the mechs. Like for example, if you don't lose your arms, you could just repair it, and maybe you could also like regenerate ammo, which would be nice, but maybe that's too much to ask. But at least like repair, like for example, if your mech is on fire or you're like limping because the mech's foot is destroyed, you can just repair with this. And yeah, I think this would be a nice addition. And apart from this, I think we pretty much have like most of the weapons from the first game, like more or less, or variations. Uh, I think there was like a C4 kind of support weapon, which I guess they could add as a grenade, which would be nice. And other than that, I think we basically have most of the weapons from HellDivers 1 and the DLC. And that's about it. I think they should add these 3 or 4 things. They're not that crazy, like they're not gonna be necessarily game changing. Unless they make the repair weapon like too overpowered, I guess. But I really want the laser shotgun. And also they could also add more mechs or like mech customization so we can change the arms, because in the first game they had like 3 mechs, I think. So we had the 2 we have right now, which is autocannon, like 2 autocannon rounds, and the one that has a machine gun and rocket. But they also had the lumberer, which is a mech that had like a cannon and a flamethrower. So basically our version of the Hulk. So that would also be amazing. But I think the mechs should be like, since we can't call more than 1 mech at one time, I think they should just make them like 1 mech and you customize what you want. So you go on the mech, you put whatever arms you want. So you have 2 autocannons, 2 machine guns, 2 rocket launchers, 2 flamethrowers, gas throwers, whatever you want. And then please add the stratagem stratagem collar on the mech, because in the first game you could call stratagems from the mech. It had like a stratagem like ball dispenser thingy on the shoulder of the mech, of the exosuit, and you just call it with that, and that would be nice, and would definitely help, so you don't have to get out of the mech to call a stratagem. So they could add it as an unlockable customization option, which is fine, and then unify the exosuit, so you don't have 2, since we never can use both at the same time. So it doesn't make sense. So you have 1 stratagem for the exosuit, and you customize what your exosuit has. And talking about customization, I think we should also go into like the melee option. I think they should add like a dedicated melee button. Like for example, if you press R3, you just hit the melee. But if you keep it held, like in Call of Duty, for example, you just pull out the melee weapon. So that way we don't have to sacrifice a secondary weapon to have a sword or the flag. You know, that would be awesome. So you can have the like, I don't know, the saber, the baton, or like the throwing knives, for example. The throwing knives could be, I don't know, I mean it's a grenade, but still they could have like the saber, the stun lance and stuff like that, so it doesn't sacrifice a secondary slot. And then I would also remap the armors, because in the first game you had perks, so the armors and helmets were just cosmetic. There was no advantage or anything. So instead you just unlocked perks, which you unlocked with like different ranks with samples. So you had like cardio accelerator, heavy armor, like, which is extra padding, laser aim, which gave you a laser, strong arm, increased the range. So basically all the armor passive we have now, they were like perks. So I would change this, like have the like the armor that you buy unlock perks, which is fine. Like for example, if you get the servo assisted one, unlocks the servo assisted perk, but don't limit it to an armor. So as long as you bought an armor that has the specific perk, you can apply it to any armor. I think that would be fun, because I have a lot of cool armor, but I never want to use it because I don't want to use Democracy Protects or Unflinching or Gunslinger. Even though the armor looks awesome, the passive is annoying. So just give us the option to activate any passive we have in our inventory and call it a day. I think they should go that route, because it's a pity. We have like a ton of cool looking armor that I never use, and I know a lot of people don't use because, I don't know, maybe you're rocking the double-edged sickle, you don't want to burn yourself, so you can't use like the Polar Patriots armor because it doesn't have the inflammable like passive, you know. So I think that would be a way to make the game a little more fun. Add a dedicated melee weapon slot. Let us assign the perks to whichever armor we want. So just select the perk and not have it depending on the armor. And please add the laser shotgun. And I think that's gonna be where I stop because I've been ranting for a while. If you guys wanna hear me rant about HellDivers, maybe next time I could rant about it while I play some more, because it's been ages since I played any HellDivers like on Steam or on stream, or just recording a video on HellDivers 2. So yeah, if you want to see HellDivers 2 gameplay or HellDivers 1, I have both on PlayStation 5, so just let me know in the comments and I'll definitely go back to it. But yeah, I just want to talk about Liberty Day, and more specifically about the laser shotgun, which, if I had to choose just one thing to bring back for HellDivers 1, even though the repair weapon, the mortar weapon, and the other things are cool, I would definitely pick the laser shotgun. So if we could just have one, that would be my pick, and I would be happy with it. Because I think it would be an awesome weapon to bring on any front, especially since it's like a shotgun-like weapon. For example, with the Illumina, it's gonna be amazing. You can kill hordes of voteless without like wasting your ammo and having to rely on a supply pack. You can just manage your heat capacity, heat seek, and just strategize like that. So yeah, let me know if you guys played HellDivers 1, if you know about the laser shotgun. I'm gonna try to include some footage so you guys can see it. I'm gonna hop on a quick match in HellDivers 1 to show off the laser. And yeah, that's gonna be about it. Hope you guys liked the video, and I'll catch you in my next one. See ya.